Welcome to the Female Disruptors Virtual Summit. I am Lisa Beyer and happy to introduce one of our keynotes today, Addison. Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Lisa.
Yeah, of course. And so I go back to, we originally met at Social Media Marketing World when I was teaching the speakers yoga as their yoga breaks. And ironically, we have yoga breaks today. In about an hour, right after your session, we have Megan Nolan giving a yoga break, and then Timmy Howard later. But getting back to you, so you are going to share how you have turned your business classroom teacher to being a six-figure entrepreneur. So that's pretty amazing. And I loved the post that you shared a couple of days ago about how education is changing, and you're a disruptor in education, that's for sure. And how professors that thought they had like job security for the rest of their lives are getting fired. So education is definitely being disrupted. And I'm so happy that you're going to share your journey on what you've been doing, working with young adults and parents, and now turning this into an amazing business. And you just launched the Disruptor Planner, independent from Female Disruptors. Ironically, we're all disruptors here, which it's just like the best planner you could possibly have. And she has a Facebook group that is holds you accountable. So I'm going to just turn it over to you. Oh, and she's working on her TEDx talk. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Take it away.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. I feel so honored. I have been really enjoying the summit, and what an amazing line of speakers you have. And I feel really honored to be one of them. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Give me a second. Awesome. And feel free to let me know if you guys have any questions. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, I assume so. And as Lisa mentioned, I'm going to share with you my crazy journey as an education disruptor, from classroom teacher to a six-figure entrepreneur, and to really talk about the power of disruption, and also talking about the power of building a very strong personal brand. And my name, most people just call me I, so feel free, or Dr. I, either way is fine. And I am actually a first generation immigrant. I grew up in China, and I absolutely hated the Chinese education system and media censorship and things like that. I just couldn't stand it anymore. So I left China in 2003 and came to the United States to pursue higher education. I went to Syracuse and I got my master, but there was like so much snow in Syracuse. It killed me. I was like, this is too much. So after 2 years at Syracuse, I love the school, but it's not for me. And so after 2 years at Syracuse, I went to University of Maryland, which is where I'm right now. We just moved back to this area, and where I got my PhD. And I actually taught in the classroom for 10, almost 15 years, a long time. So here are just some of the pictures, me and my students. And I actually I got, hold on. I actually even got a few awards as a college professor, and some more pictures. So this is my wake-up call from the outside. And I was living my dream life, respect, social status, college professor, terminal degree. I got tenured, associate professor. Everything seemed to be so perfect from the outside. But internally, from the inside, I was collapsing. I felt exhausted teaching inside the broken education model. And I hated Monday. I still remember when I was listening to podcasts and people say that they love Monday. I was like, liars. They're just like a bunch of liars. Nobody loved Monday. How can you love Monday? So I hated Monday. And even more so, I hated my life. I was just like, everything, my life was so predictable. I went to high school, I taught the same class, grading, teaching classes, doing academic research, publications. It was so boring. And for me, and the worst part, I think, reflecting on this journey was that it took lots of energy for me to be me. Like, can some of you relate? Like, there was a me that was socially constructed for me. It was not even me. So every day I had to show up to be this me that was not even me. So I did that for 10 plus years. That was absolutely exhausting. And so 2017 was really my turning point. And I told myself, enough is enough. And that was, I don't know why my husband took a picture, but he got this. I was like, thank you for capturing this moment. I was really at the lowest point of my life. And so I told myself, enough is enough. And that was the year I decided to be true to myself, stop lying to myself, stop pretending to be this I that is not even me. And that was also the year I decided to start my journey as an education disruptor. And that's why I love this conference so much. And so I did. I started my company, which is called Classroom Without Walls. And I got invited to show my company at some events. And me and my children, they're both a lot older now. And I even developed my own conceptual framework to help teenagers and young adults to become career ready and future ready. And this is an iceberg model that I developed. And excuse me. And what I discovered is that school-based learning was only a small portion of what was needed to help a young person become career ready and future ready. But as you can see, my message is very disruptive. As a college professor, the last thing you want to do is to trash the education system, right? I think that was part of my misery because I knew the model was broken, but I wasn't courageous enough to share my message. I was pretending to be this, good college professor. So 2017, and then that's how I developed this model and school learning. And I started, not only I developed this model, I started to openly share my message. And as you can imagine, as a professor, like I have all the degrees, I got the terminal degree, and talking about how broken the model is, and talking about in a way to make sometimes maybe other admins and professors feel bad, even though that was not my intention. My intention was to blame the system. I never intended to blame any teachers or students. But anyway, that was my disruptive message. And I got bullied. It was bad. But in retrospect, I'm so happy that I decided to share my message. Without that part, the vulnerable part, like sharing my message, building my brand, I wouldn't be where I am today. And even more so, and I also developed my own roadmap. So so my company is here because of the current education model is broken. So what I do at my company is to supplement. So as you saw from the iceberg model, school learning is only the tip of the iceberg. So what I cover is everything under the tip of the iceberg. So I developed my own 3-phase process to help young people become career ready and life ready. And so over the last several years, I have received so many messages and lots of positive feedback from the parents. I really want to thank the in 2017, drinking, feeling so miserable about life, for being so courageous, to speak up, share my message, and start something completely new and outside the system. And this message, I still remember when I got it. There was one student, he shared that he has learned so much in 10 days at my program. than 2 years at his business class. That almost made me cry. And it was such a great feeling. And from parents and from lots of students from all over the globe sharing with me how much they have benefited from my model, the way that I'm coaching and working with the students and my curriculum. And I even got invited to speak on stage, keynoting in quite a few different countries before COVID. And I think this is in Korea, in Jamaica, and I also started working with different brands, and all because of my courage to share this disruptive message. And so at this point, even at this point in my business, I spent $0 doing Facebook ads. So everything really happened to me organically. As you'll hear my story later in my talk, I'm going to share with you guys a branding model that worked really, really well in my case and in many of my students' case. And so I started working with companies like Adobe. I became an Adobe education leader. I also became an Adobe Insider, which is their influencer program, more on the corporate side. And last year in July, I had the great honor. I did the opening keynote for Adobe Education Summit. And again, I shared my disruptive message, even though lots of people in the audience were educators. And I also started working with HubSpot, and I became a HubSpot instructor. And last year started working with LinkedIn, doing more collaborations, and also started as a result of my live streaming show. And I started to do like sponsorships, partnerships with different brands. And I interviewed some of the most amazing thought leaders in social media, in marketing, in education, in leadership. And I learned so much from interviewing those people. And my work has also been featured in Forbes, Today's Show, Inside Higher Education, and a number of other like different places. And so this was what Lisa was talking about. Actually, yesterday, I recorded my TEDx. It was supposed to be in person in New Jersey, but COVID. But it's okay. And so this is my title. Again, very disruptive. I have really internalized this message that I'm a disruptor, like really owned my message. And so this is my talk. School is obsolete. What is next? So I'm really excited to this talk will come out on February 5th. So I'm really excited. And the planner that Lisa was talking about, it was also another initiative on my end to further spread my message as being a disruptor. So I launched my very first e-commerce brand last year, Q3, quarter 3. I launched that. And so the planner, this was designed before this Disruptor Summit. What a nice coincidence. And the planner is called the Disruptors Planner to Creation, Transformation, and Acceleration. And the reason I created this was really to spread my message and to encourage more people to disrupt and to redefine norms, to question and create. And also I realized how important planning is in my business, in my day-to-day life, and how much my life has changed, how much my business has changed as a result of being more intentional and starting January with the end goal in mind. So I really want to help more entrepreneurs and disruptors to embrace planning and to make this be a part of their life. And I, as a disruptor, we do things very differently. And what I discovered is that as I was designing my planner and I was doing research, I realized that many people who purchase the planner, they don't really actually use the planner. I was like, what we're missing? So I realized to have a fulfilling and meaningful and productive year, the planner itself is now going to make all the magic happen. So that's why I created my disruptor planners success system. It's not just the planner itself, but actually besides the planner, it doesn't matter what planner you use, but besides the planner, you need this, 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 and this. And I feel pretty confident to say that I don't think anyone in the planner industry is doing this. So what I added is I added a monthly plan with me, accountability session and training. And I also added a daily text message of positive affirmations using an app called Community. For those of you who don't even know what is Community, feel free to ask me. I absolutely love Community. It is such a great way to build community. So I also added that. I also added Disruptor of the Quarter cash award, $50. This award goes to the person who has accomplished the most number of goals within the quarter. And I don't think any planner is doing that. And I'm constantly, my team and I were adding like digital assets to the planner, and there's a community. So this is really how I show up as a planner, how I show up as a disruptor. I see the problem and I create my own solution. And I love, love, love this. Just like my business, I saw a problem in education and I created my own solution. And I saw a problem, or maybe not so much a problem. I see some flaws, and then I created my own unique planner. So the question you might be thinking right now is, hey, this sounds great, right? Stop bragging about yourself, even though that was not my intention, is to really inspire you, hopefully. So how did I transform from being this very broke and unhappy college professor to where I'm today? And so I have two key messages I want to share with everyone. And the first one, you probably already know, is the power of disruption. And I really want you, like, dare to be you, dare to disrupt. And when I look back on my own journey, the reason I was so miserable as a college professor was because I knew the model was broken, but I didn't feel courageous enough to share that message because I was concerned about, okay, like if I say this, am I going to be fired? Like, how about like all the people on my research committees, my deans, my school principal, the provost, like what's going to happen to me if I really speak the message that is aligned with my heart? I didn't feel courageous enough to do that. That was 80% of my misery. And the moment I decided to be true to myself, to be a disruptor, to really honor that, okay, the message I share may be disruptive, but my intention is for the next generation. My intention is to fix this broken education model so that the future generation can be in a better environment. And so this is my very first message I want to share with you guys. I know everyone here is a disruptor. You are probably resonating with this message. And I want to encourage you to dare to be you, dare to disrupt. And I really love this quote, your mess is your message. I forgot who said this. This is not from me, but I have been using this message for a long time. And when I struggled 4 years ago, like being really miserable, very depressed, and I was in a hot mess, right? A very messy situation. But again, that mess eventually became my message. And now I have built a profitable business because of my mess. So don't be discouraged if you feel like, oh, my life is so messy. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm struggling with this and that. Whatever you are struggling with, your mess is going to be your message. And I also want to share, so as a disruptor, and I said this earlier, an intention for me to create the Disruptors Planner is to encourage more people to become disruptors, especially young people. What I observed is that many young people today, college especially college age students. They're so obedient. Most people I know are obedient followers. But when you look at the future, we don't need more obedient followers. We need more disruptive leaders. And that's what really inspired me to create my Disruptors Manifesto. And on my planner, I even ask people to sign, as you can see here, sign. So I love this part. And I question, I disrupt, I break, I create, I lead, I command, I transcend my circumstances, I redefine norms. I believe magic happens outside my comfort zone. I am a proud disruptor. And my favorite line, I love all of them, but my favorite line is I redefine norms. And this is my call to action to everyone listening right now or watching the replay. Let's redefine norms. And what are the norms in your industry or in your space that needs to be redefined? So think about it and start to share that message. And also let me know in the chat box. I would love to read it. What are the norms in your industry that needs to be redefined? I redefine the norm that school-based learning is all that you need to become successful. So I started to share, no. That is only 20%. 80% is missing, guys. You know, that message is wrong. That belief is wrong. So this is what I redefined. Little did I know, redefining that norm helped me get to where I am today and created an entire business based on the broken education model. The more broken the model is, the more students I'm going to get in my alternative educational program, which is really crazy to think about. So the second message I want to share with everyone is the power of building a brand. And I forgot to mention when I was a college professor, I was mainly teaching public relations. That's how I got to know Lisa. I was teaching public relations and social media classes. But as most college professors, I only had degrees. I didn't have any professional industry experience to back up what I was teaching. So I really started. So in 2017, when I decided to be a disruptor, that was also the year I told myself, everything I asked my students to do, I was going to do this myself. When I asked my students to blog, I was blogging. When I asked my student to do live streaming, I was also doing live streaming. So that is how I actually built my brand. So I developed over the last several years, and this model is tested and proven on hundreds of students. And so I developed this 3C branding flywheel. And the model consists of connect, contribute, and create. And I don't know how much time I have. Let me check. Okay, 15 minutes left. And so if you can apply and implement this model on a regular basis, and I promise you that you are going to not only build a brand, but you are going to build a community, you are going to build credibility, authority for your brand, and you are going to have a higher conversion rate. And as I told you guys, share with you guys earlier, I spent $0 running my business. Everything comes to me organically, and I have surpassed how much I used to make way surpassed how much I used to make as a college professor, which is not hard. You really don't get paid that much as a teacher. But anyway, so I'm going to quickly explain what this model is about. So the first part of the 3C model is connect. And the core of building a sustainable brand is that you have to make that connection with yourself, right? Who are you? You don't want to build a brand that is not in alignment with who you are. So my brand since day one is a disruptor, right? Like sending and talking about the broken education model, sending this disruptive message. Hey, you know, like school is broken. If you think that sending your children to a school is going to help your kid figure out their life, think twice, right? So that's kind of my message. But it's in alignment with who I am. It is something I truly believe. And the reason I was so miserable for 10 plus years in my teaching career was I was misaligned. What I spoke on a daily basis was not in alignment with who I am. That is the worst way to build a brand, right? So have that alignment. And the second way for you to build a brand is to connect with other industry leaders and thought leaders. And I really enjoy using social media as a search engine. To me, like social media is like Google. So I'm going to show you guys real quick how I use LinkedIn as a search engine. And I wish we had more time. I can show you guys more platforms, but unfortunately, I can't. So let me just go to my LinkedIn. I have all the windows ready. LinkedIn is my favorite social media platform. LinkedIn is also the platform that has generated the most number of leads for me and clients. And so I really, really love LinkedIn. Okay, so many people don't even know this. And I'm using LinkedIn as an example. You can apply the same strategy to TikTok. I also use TikTok as a search engine. You can apply this to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all the channels. Okay, like for example, and when I started my journey, I want to be on other people's podcasts. I will just use education as example, education podcast, for example. So this is the search bar. I entered what I need to search, and LinkedIn categorize. You can search based on a group. You can also search based on people. You can also search based on post or content. And so for me, I want to connect with other people who have education podcasts so that I can reach out and, hey, do you need a guest? And so you just click on the people category. And here you have most of the people, like this one, right? Chris, educator, podcaster. That's amazing. That's why in your LinkedIn bio, you want to make sure you actually include the keywords, right? So for me, I have education, I have disruptor. Those are the keywords represent who I am and what I do, so that when other people are searching for people like me, my LinkedIn profile will actually show up, okay? And so this is how I do search. I will connect with those people. For example, Chris, it's like, wow, this looks pretty good. And I will follow, I will send a personalized message. And this is how I build connections, okay? And another thing I do is that, sometimes you don't want to connect or you don't want to send a message to someone. They only check LinkedIn like once a year. So how I figure this out is that I go to their activity, and under their activity, I click on post. And I would say, okay, wow, Chris, he posted 3 days ago. So to me, that is an indicator he's pretty active. He's pretty active on LinkedIn. So for people who only posted like last year, I don't even connect with those people because they probably are not active, okay? So this is an example and how I use LinkedIn as a search engine. As I mentioned earlier, you can apply this to other channels and a group, right? So another way for you to connect with other thought leaders, industry leaders, is to use a Facebook group, okay? And I will just show you an example. So I search parenting here in the search bar. You just enter parenting and I choose the category here, groups. And so here are all the parenting related groups that I actually joined, okay? So I no longer do this myself. What I do is that I ask my assistant every day. He spends some time inside those Facebook groups and he will select relevant messages and save all the messages. You know how on Facebook you can save messages? So we have a folder. He will save all the messages in that folder. So when I have a moment, I will actually read the messages and like comment and say things. And this has been such a great way for me to build connections with others, at the same time demonstrate my thought leadership. Okay, so here, and you can see, choose the active ones, and like I think the ones I joined are pretty active. Again, you can do the same thing for LinkedIn. Check out the LinkedIn group. And another way, oh my God, I have only 10 minutes left. I'm going to have to quickly go through this.
You're doing great, I.
Yeah, okay. And go back. So I showed you guys how I use social media as a search engine. And I use LinkedIn as example, but please apply the same strategy to YouTube. Like YouTube, I love YouTube. I have generated like really, really amazing leads and also content ideas from YouTube, just doing the search I showed you earlier. I talked about group. I also use Amazon. You know, you can go to Amazon's best-selling authors in your own space. For me, it's in education. I will reach out to the authors. I either invite them to be on my podcast or do like a Zoom chat. And this has been another way for me to connect with other industry leaders. Again, you don't just want to connect with random people unless you have lots of free time. For me, I do everything very intentionally. If you can make one connection a day, that is like 30 connections with thought leaders in a month. That is pretty amazing, right? And I also set up Google Alerts and Google Trends for keywords in my industry, which are disruptive education. I also have like teenagers, college, high school, so certain keywords. And every day I know the things that are trending that can also help me connect with industry leaders and oftentimes give me ideas for content. And so that's the first C. And the second C is contribute. Building a powerful brand and also reflect on my journey, especially in the early days, it's not only about me, it's more so about other people. And I call this borrow other people's influence. When you are contributing to other people's content, especially on LinkedIn, so you are actually borrowing their influence to boost your own brand. And I truly believe commenting is a very powerful strategy. And I can't tell you how many DMs that I get on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram on a daily basis. Most of them are spam. I don't even read it. But if someone left a very insightful, meaningful comment on one of my posts, wow, they can always gain my attention. It is a very powerful strategy. I wish more people like knew this. And I think I have some examples here. So this is an example, a post I ask people a question, but this is what I mean, right? Not only was this person leaving me a very meaningful comment, this was just a comment, okay? But also she was using my hashtag, classroom without words. That was my hashtag. So to me, Jana, she knows me. She knows what I do. Do you think this person got my attention? 100%, right? So imagine if you can do this, apply this strategy to the influencers that you have been professionally stalking for a period of time. If you can do this on a regular basis, imagine what will happen. That's really how I got the attention of Mark Schaefer, Seth Godin, Neil Patel, all those amazing people that I interviewed. This is the strategy. And even this person, right? So this is what I call a meaningful comment. But most people are very lazy. Most people just like emoji, copy and pasting. That's not good, right? And again, it's probably too much if you do this strategy, apply this strategy to every single social media post, then you will spend the whole day on social media. And I don't recommend that. Again, I want you to be very intentional. Like choose a few thought leaders in your space that you really, really want to get their attention. Don't spam them. Don't send them like DMs all the time, but give them a meaningful comment on their post. If you do that on like for 30 days on a regular basis, I promise you that you're going to get their attention. And another strategy, I kind of already mentioned this, is to really join relevant groups, answer questions like crazy, like offer lots of value, right? So using ClickFunnels here as an example, someone asked a question, but you can see this is what I'm talking about, offering value. And this is what I do inside all of those parenting groups, which is my niche. And again, I don't go through all the posts. I ask my assistant to select posts for me. And I really drop lots of value, just give, and people will come to you. And so ask yourself, what are some groups, forums that you can join and start contributing your expertise to those people? And that will help you build your own thought leadership. And another way is like book review. And I really love Mark Schaefer. If you guys are not following him, definitely following him, because I genuinely love, I don't fake it. I don't fake my comments. I genuinely love his book. I genuinely love his work. And so I wrote a very long book review, and this is another book I wrote for him. I loved it. And that really helped us build a connection. And I also do LinkedIn recommendation. For the thought leaders, you really want to grab their attention. LinkedIn recommendation is very good. Look at this recommendation I give, like 3 paragraphs, right? So this is to Elaine. I really love her work. And this is for my friend Todd. And like, I don't just give a recommendation. I give a good recommendation. I contribute, right? So right now I'm talking about contribute. The first C is connect. Now is to contribute, okay? And I think I'm just going to dive into the last one. Oh, and the last C is to create, okay? This is what really separates followers from leaders, okay? And what I discovered is that you cannot, it's very hard for you to run a profitable business, to become a leader in your space, if you do not have original content. And reflecting on my own journey, so my brand is really based on live streaming content, okay? So I love video content, I love live streaming, and I started my brand because of my live streaming shows. And for you, maybe you hate being on camera, which is fine. There's still audio. There's so many different types of content that you can create. You don't have to do all of them. If you can choose one that you enjoy, you feel comfortable with, and stay consistent, that can really help you. You have to become a content creator. You cannot just like, you can always contribute to other people's content, but that's not enough. If you want to run a business, if you want to build a community, if you want to become a leader in your space, you have to produce your own thought leadership. You have to produce your own content. You have to become a content creator. You have to join the 1%, okay? So like, I think 90% are lurkers, 9% are contributors, and only 1% creators. So I want you to become the creator, okay? So that's pretty much is what I share with you. If you can apply this model on a regular basis, you are going to build a powerful brand, and which will be the stepping stone to your business success. And so this is what we discussed today. My story, my journey, the power of disruption. Don't forget to redefine norms. And finally, feel free to connect with me. And also, I have a surprise for everyone. So Lisa was talking about my planner. I was also talking about the planner. So this is the website for the planner, disruptorplanner.com. And I have a discount code for everyone here. And so if you enter female disruptors, when you check out, you are going to get 25% off. And plus, you are going to receive all of the bonuses and everything. And thank you so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed my talk.
Hi, thank you so much. We have like 1 minute and we have to go, we're transitioning over to 15 minutes of a yoga break if you want to join us.
Oh,
We
nice.
had a couple questions I don't think we're really going to be able to get to, but one quick one. Anne asked about the community app and what the website is. So can we just quickly answer that? And then we're looking at having a Q&A with all the speakers next week to get more more of these questions answered.
Oh
and
yeah,
interaction.
definitely. So maybe the best way is for me, because I don't want to give people wrong information. So I think it is community.com. Hold on, let me double check. I love this, but yes, community.com. Yeah, but I do want to mention that this only works for phone numbers based in Canada and the United States. Okay. And if you are like me, have an international audience, you have to use a separate tool to send international text message. But if you need that information, let me know. But community works for phones in the US and Canada. And I absolutely love it. And if you go to their homepage, I think they have lots of success cases. I think Gary Vee and a number of content creators, they're using community. Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to transition. Please, everybody meet us over with Megan Nolan. Hopefully I'll see you there too. And we're going to do 15-minute yoga break and then back to regular sessions.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.